Calculating measurements for uniform shirt. The shirt for uniform can be for girls as well as for boys. It has a standing collar, and a pocket at the left hand heart position. If the girl's uniform is with a pinafore, the pocket is not necessary. The shirt pattern itself can also be used for grown-ups. The key feature of a shirt is the full collar, and since it is close to the face, it should be done neatly. At the end of the session, you will be able to identify the various parts of a uniform shirt, identify the standard measurements required for making a uniform shirt, make the required calculations for making a uniform shirt. Usually the uniform shirt is made from a single piece of fabric. The length of the uniform shirt will be from shoulder to the hip line. It has two front pieces, one back piece, sleeves, standing collar, and pocket. We have to look at each part in detail, make calculations and add seam allowance and wearing ease to know how to draft and cut the fabric. The standard body measurements required for making a uniform shirt are full length, chest circumference, shoulder width, neck circumference, and half sleeve length. Here we have the full length is 16 inches, chest circumference is 23 inches, shoulder width is 11.5 inches, neck circumference is 12 inches, and half sleeve length is 5 inches. We have to look at each part in detail, make calculations, and add seam allowance and wearing ease to know how to draft and cut the fabric. The body measurements for making the half skirt are full length of 16 inches, chest circumference of 23 inches, shoulder width of 11.5 inches, neck circumference of 12 inches, and half sleeve length of 5 inches. To get the total full length for drafting, we need to add ½ inch for the shoulder seam allowance and 1 inch for the bottom hem to the full length of 16 inches to get a total of 17.5 inches. For a shirt, we need two front shirt pieces. Let's first see the calculations required for one front shirt piece. Here, we need to add 3/8 inches for the half overlap, 1.5 inches for wearing ease, and ½ inch side seam allowance to quarter of our chest measurement, which is 5 3/4 inches, which gives us a total of 8 1/8 inches. Here we need only one back piece for making a uniform shirt. So for the back shirt piece, we need to add 1.5 inches for the wearing ease and ½ inch for the side seam allowance to quarter of our chest measurement, which is 5 3/4 inches, to get a total width of 7 3/4 inches. Now to get the total shoulder width for drafting, we need to add 3/8 inch of seam allowance for the armhole to half of the shoulder width, which is 5 3/4 inches, to get a total width of 6 1/8 inches. To get the total sleeve length for drafting, we need to add 3/8 inch for the armhole seam allowance and 1 inch for the sleeve hem to the half sleeve length, which is 5 inches, to get a total of 6 3/8 inches. Now to get the total length of the standing collar for drafting, we need to add 3/8 inches for the overlap and 1/4 inch seam allowance to half of the neck circumference, which is 6 inches, to get a total width of 6 5/8 inches. We need to find a few more fractions for drafting. Following are the fractions required for drafting. In this session, we have learned the various parts and standard body measurements required for making a uniform shirt. We also made the calculations for drafting with these body measurements. Before we conclude, let's take a look at the key points. A uniform shirt consists of two front shirt pieces, one back shirt piece, sleeves, standing collar, and pocket. The standard body measurements required for making a uniform shirt are full length, chest circumference, shoulder width, neck circumference, and half sleeve length. We have to understand the design and add seam allowance and wearing ease to the standard measurements and make some calculations for drafting purpose. With that, we've come to the end of the session.